big hill. Hi everyone, I'm on Dartmoor. I came down from South Wales on the train this morning, got off at Ivy Bridge and obviously was delayed by an hour because it's a British train. But I'm here now and it is gorgeous today. So I've just climbed up onto Harford Moor and come across my first 2 Moors Way markers. Not that I'll be doing a lot of that because it's a very long way. But yeah, have a look at this awesome scenery. It's a bit hazier than I had hoped. And can you hear? Skylarks doing their nut. So, skylarks and sheep are some of the reasons Marvin isn't with me today. He doesn't like being on the lead for long periods of time and it stresses me out as well. And I've yet to test him out like in a smaller tent. Plus, I'm not sure I'm fit enough to actually carry all his food and kit at the moment. So he's having a nice couple of relaxing days at home, doing his normal walks, and I am having 2 nights up here. So, you can see the monster backpack. It's the beginning of March, and although it looks absolutely glorious, and it is actually really warm, it drops really low overnight. So I've got all my winter kit with me. Yeah, so I thought it'd be nice just for me to record it so I can remember it, but I hope you like it too. Yeah, I'll show you some of the scenery and where I'm going to be camping. I've been feeling like I want to show you some really exciting stuff. I can show you my tent. But yeah, just walking for a bit now. I've got no kind of plan really other than to stay in the area that you're allowed to camp. So for those of you that don't know, Dartmoor, or areas of Dartmoor, are the only place you're allowed to wild camp officially in England and Wales. If you want to legally wild camp, otherwise you have to go to Scotland, which is a really long way from here. But there is a camping map online showing you where you can and can't camp here. And when they say camp, they mean backpacking tents, 1 night, leave no trace stuff. Oh, can you see that? I'll show the skylarks. So pretty. Oh. Yeah, so worth a trip to Dartmoor if you fancy experiencing wild camping without, I guess, the worry of someone telling you to move on. So we'll get walking for a bit and I'll bring you back when we've got some nice things to see. Yes, these fences are to stop erosion. I know that it's a problem up here. There was a warning at the beginning of the moor when I came up saying once you're off paths, if you're in a group, to make sure to spread out so you're not all walking on the same bit and eroding it. I like the way they're using all kind of natural things to hold it back. Got here. Hey babe. Yeah. He doesn't care. Or she. I think I read somewhere that they do actually, the Dartmoor ponies do actually all belong to someone. I know they get rounded up once a year. It always amazes me that they manage to thrive up here. I mean, I know it's a big space, but it doesn't exactly look lush, does it? But they obviously survive. And I've been up here before, and the winters can be so ridiculously harsh. You know, there's proper ice and snow for months and nothing growing, so hardy creatures. Found some cool stones. Look. See that carved in there? No, it looks like a U. Another big one. I think there are lots of kind of stone rows, boundary markers, ooh, squishy, and quite a few stone circles on Dartmoor. Must admit, I haven't seen a stone circle. I'd like to. Maybe I'll look on the map later. It's quite big, isn't it? Ooh. I know there's a lot of kind of Bronze Age stuff up on Dartmoor, and you can see like remnants of little villages and things. There's a really famous one called Grimspound that's a fair way north of here. It's worth looking up because you can really see what it would have looked like. I'm really grateful for the breeze at the moment because it's actually quite warm. There's no good clothing to wear at this time of year. You've either got too many layers on or not enough layers on. Springtime. Back on the path for a bit. I have to remind myself to actually stop and eat because I am a bit of a sod for just getting distracted with things and getting into walking and then forgetting to eat and then wondering why I'm feeling poorly later on. So we'll stop somewhere soon, I think. I just had a really nice conversation with an older gentleman who said he hasn't been out since December and he was really enjoying being out on the moors. And you can see it ahead of me. You can see for miles. And he was walking really slowly. And I looked down, looked back up, and he's just disappeared. I'm like, there's nowhere to disappear to around here. Not in this section. Bit spooky. Ghosts of Dartmoor. Oh. Ooh. Trying to figure out what that is. I mean, a plane, obviously, but bet they're getting an absolutely amazing view. So kind of desolate but pretty up here. I don't know if any of you guys have come across Abby Barnes on YouTube. They're a YouTuber that does like travel and walking films, about 1,000 times more professional than mine. Started doing like videos, I think she was maybe 17 or something, and I've watched her ever since. She's absolutely amazing and I heartily recommend going and having a look. She's very kind of passionate about people getting out in the wild and helping with their physical and mental health, which I completely and totally agree with. But I watched one of their videos doing the Two Moors Way, which this is a part of that. And she struggles with mental health issues, as do I. And, got quite anxious up here at one point. And I can see why. It is kind of desolate. You feel very exposed. I mean, I quite like it, but I can see how it would really kind of perturb some people. Anyway, if you're interested in watching much higher quality walking videos, then head on across, because they're really brilliant. This on the map just says pit. So obviously it was industry of some description, but I'm not sure what exactly. It's big though. And there's still this kind of bridge affair going on. I'm assuming this was a tramway. And I would imagine that's a spoil heap. Okay, I'm not going to lie, the plane is starting to get really annoying now. It's been like doing donuts up and down for, I don't know, best part of 2 hours? I don't know if any of you have ever gone to Flight Radar online. It has like all the planes in the world and you can just tap on them and see where they've come from and where they're going to. And I just looked up this guy, and I don't know whether you can actually, can you see that? Not sure whether you can or not. That's his flight path. Like, he's literally donutting. I'm right in the middle of that. Is that focused? I'm trying to figure out why. Is that how they do flying lessons? Just go up and down in straight lines? So, I think we're aborting plan A, heading to the Clapper Bridge. Mainly because last time I came up here, I clearly was a lot more fit. And what I'd remembered as being about 3 or 4 miles is actually 8 or 9 miles. And I'm knackered, so I think for today I might head on to what looked like a couple of ponds and see if I can find a camping spot there, and then tomorrow go down to the Clapper Bridge. I found a thing, and yes, that is the plane still in the background. We're on hour 3 of him just donutting around. Out of interest, like, how big are the fuel tanks on those things? Can you just fly forever? Look how cool this is. I'm presuming that's like a spoil heap, given that it's a really weird shape. And there's loads of like leftover industrial looking things. That is a huge pond. Pit. Whatever. Ooh. I will look up what this is. Wow, it's massive. This is properly the middle of nowhere. I've walked more than 8 miles, and I think in the other direction it's a good 2 or 3 miles to the nearest tiny village. So apart from me and Bob the pilot up there, there's no one around, I don't think. I've never actually set up my tent next to any large bodies of water. I get the impression there's like loads of bugs in the evening. But we'll see. There is actually very little in the way of flowing water on Dartmoor at the moment. Normally you're wading through stuff, but I haven't really found much in the way of flowing streams, so I have to look on the map. I know there's, in the other direction, a few miles away, there's a, is it China clay? So it might be an old one of those looking at it, because it's got kind of really white bits. It's cool. Okay, so decisions were made. Do you know, it gets to a point in the afternoon, a couple of hours before it goes dark, if you're camping out overnight and you've got to choose your spot, you start looking around and you get a bit, I don't know, manic about it, or I do, and you sit there and go, is that good enough? Or what if there's something better, like just a little bit further on? Trying to make yourself stop and pitch your tent is actually quite hard. Especially up here on the moors, there's not very much in the way of flat places, and the places that are flat are really boggy. I've come kind of off-piste a little bit, off the main path. I've been really careful. I have my walking sticks to poke around in front of me because I don't want to disturb any wildlife. But I've been really admiring all these cool rocks. It's really quiet now, which is very nice. So ahead of me, I can hear water, so that's good. And I'm thinking that might be a good shout, or some bits a bit further on. I tend to find up here in Dartmoor, if you find like a scattering of rocks, it tends to be a bit drier, because I think there are also rocks underneath, so the water drains a bit better. Although I'd say it's actually really dry at the moment. I think this ahead of us is like normally a stream, looking at it. When I go off the paths and onto just off-piste, I tend to try and follow horse tracks, because I'm figuring it is that the ground's already been disturbed, and if a horse can walk through it, then I'm unlikely to sink into the ground. But I will bring you back when I've finally decided where to stop. It's so quiet and lovely. Also, my very clever husband pointed out that the plane before, it was probably mapping something. It's me getting really annoyed at it going back and forth. It's like, why would you be going back and forth? But I never thought there might actually be a reason. Could very well be mapping. Probably Google, isn't it? But I think he's cleared off home now. So I think it's about 4:30, and the sun sets at about 6, and that is running water. Perfect. You have to be really careful with these. I don't know if you can see, apart from my shadow, because the streams cut in underneath So you have to be really careful about where you stand, because you're basically standing on a shelf. I've come a cropper with that before now. But we're absolutely soaked today, but waterproof socks are your friend. Right. Okay, folks. There it is in all its glory. Should I have a tent nerd moment? So this is a Lightwave Sigma S15, which is basically, well, it's meant to be like a 1.5 person tent, which basically means one person who doesn't like sleeping in a coffin. Yeah, so where I've decided to pitch, it's close to water, but not too close, hopefully. Is it flat? No, not at all. Not. But as you can see, that's a bit of an issue around here. But it's not a campsite. This is, for those of you who are also tent nerds, a single skin tent, which means it's really light. But the disadvantage is that it does okay with condensation. It's got like a carbon coating on the inside. But once it's wetted out, it takes forever to dry. So I've had it maybe 4-5 years, I think. And the only time I've ever had a major problem with it is when I was on the West Highland Way and it rained continually for days on end and I had no way of drying it out. But other than that, it's been really good. Dead easy to put up. And I think it's like 1.2 kilos. So yeah. So next order of business is collecting and filtering water, then having a cuppa, and then climbing to somewhere I can get a signal just to tell everyone I'm safe and okay. So I'm trying to figure out, presumably therefore the sun will come up over that way. Should be nice. I might go and have an explore in a bit, I think. Just trying to think how long I've got, but got about an hour of light left, so might go for a wander in a bit. But if I don't, it's going to be some pretty classy tent meals, probably a mac and cheese and a CSI marathon. And listening to the stream, which I'm worried is going to make me want to go to the loo every 10 seconds. Also, I might get harassed by bunnies in the night. I did notice there was just shed loads of them over there. And they look really perturbed, so I'm hoping I'm not on a warrant. But, yeah. Time to rest up. You can hear some water ahead. I was hearing it from a tent, so I thought I'd go and have a nosy before I lose the last of the light. Very cracky here. There's lots of holes in the ground, so the grass covers up the holes in between rocks, so you have to be really careful. Hence, the stick is back out. I'm really hoping I remember where my tent is on the way back. That'd be really good, wouldn't it? Looks like I'm going to have to bog to bits. Something bigger happening over there, isn't it? Oop. Ooh. Oh. Oh wow. Okay, let's see if I can climb up and you can see. Check that out. Wow. I think that must drop down really quickly because I'm hearing really loud water. Well, I'm going to be investigating that in the morning. Wow. That is gorgeous. It's not a bad place to spend the evening, is it? I thought I'd show everyone the reality of it. So, next morning, the temperature dropped so quickly last night after the sun had gone down that the condensation was just epic. So now we're playing a game of try and dry everything before packing it up. It's not too bad. I could pack it up like this, but if I've got a chance to dry it now, then probably should before moving on. It's going to be it's such a tidy camper. It's going to be a pretty low mileage day today because I am aching after yesterday. I'm clearly not as fit as I was. So everything's pinned down. Learnt this the hard way several times. So we're going to give it half an hour of airing out and then set off into the wilds. It's a bit breezy today. Right, all packed up. Tent's on the outside today because I'm carrying more water. So I've got to make room for that. I found it really difficult finding water up on the top of the hills yesterday. I haven't had a problem before, but obviously it's been a really dry spring. I saw lots of frog spawn that was now on dry ground instead of in puddles, so that was a bit sad. But I saw lots of live ones too, so hopefully there'll be lots this year. So, hey, leave no trace. Except a flattened bit of ground. Right, off we go. Bit breezy up the top. So we're back to the spoil heap. It's called Red Lake, I think. I did look it up last night. And it is China clay. Which I'm not exactly sure what that means, but it's definitely white when you look at it. So you can see I'm not on an official path at the moment. So I wanted to find somewhere kind of secluded. But what I find is Dartmoor, because it has so many ponies, quite a few sheep as well, there's a lot of kind of animal tracks you can follow. I don't know if you can see that. This isn't a people path. It's just lots of horses have gone back and forth. And they are far more intelligent than me. So I follow those. So we're going to head back to the main path and then decide where I'm going to go then. I am using sticks and poking ahead and being very careful. If I hear a skylark going nuts, I will be careful about where I'm putting my feet because it's just about the beginning of nesting season and they nest on the ground, so you've got to be careful. God, that'd be a nightmare, wouldn't it? God, if you stepped on a nest. Never forgive myself. You can see the circles ahead of us on the side of the hills. There's kind of 1, 2, and then there's one over there. I just looked it up and apparently they're old settlements. I'm having trouble imagining like people thriving up here, but apparently they're potentially thousands of years old, so it's really cool. Although they do look a little bit like someone's just stamped smiley faces onto the side of the hill. Over that way, some sort of cairn at the top. I just had to take a picture. Well, I didn't have to. There's a big marker post in the middle of the moor asking you to take a picture and send it to the Dartmoor erosion survey team from a particular spot, because I think they're trying to figure out if they need to do anything up here. Because if you have a look, it's relatively eroded away in bits. And I think if it's like the other places that I visited, like in the north and bits of the Brecon Beacons, they start putting like either boards down or rocks just to hold back the erosion a bit. Be a heck of a job up here though. This is the Two Moors Way. I don't think it has a lot of heavy traffic on it. But I have noticed a lot of bike tracks, which amazes me. I mean, as you can see, pretty soft underfoot, so I'm not sure I'd be bringing a bike with me. Totally just lost my foot right into a boggy mess there. Jumping. Ew, waterproof socks all the way. So hopefully we'll get a view of the river we were camped next to last night, but we were a lot further up the valley. I don't know why I keep saying we. I'm a scientist, you meant to write it down like that and I can't help it. I camped further up that valley. Last night. As it turned out, the kind of water cascade last night was called Broad Falls. Pretty descriptive. It's so pretty, and we're a really long way from civilization at the moment. Well, in the scheme of things, it's a good maybe 3 miles to the closest access road, because there's a reservoir. But that's down a kind of track. Other than that, it's a long way to civilization. And I am so grateful that I can get out and do this. I'm always very aware, actually, when I'm in places like this, that, you know, it might not be forever I can do it. Or I might go off it, who knows. But I know not everyone can get out and do this, even if they want to. I don't take it for granted. Okay, so this looks like it goes off a cliff. If I survive this descent, I'll see you in a minute. Managed to make it down to the Clapper Bridge. I don't know if it actually shows up on camera how steep that is. It's like a cliff face with a bog at the bottom. How cool is this? Wow, these are big bits of stone. How on earth do you move these? This is the River Avon, but not the one near Bristol. I have no idea why it's called a clapper bridge. I'm going to have to look that up when I get home. Right, tea break. Well, I say tea, it's a sachet of adequate coffee. I see someone on top of the spoil heap on top of the pyramid, and I'm really fighting the temptation to not wave at them. The only reason I'm not is because I'm a bit worried they might think I'm in trouble. But I haven't seen anyone since yesterday, and it's weird, isn't it? Like, you don't have many instances where you don't see people. Like, even if you're at home watching TV, you're seeing people on the TV. But last night I realised that I had no signal where I was camped, and everything I downloaded to watch had not worked because Paramount Plus is useless. And so I went a good 12 more hours without phone or signal, and I realised it's the first time I've been without a phone signal for that long, probably since the 90s, which is a bit scary really, isn't it? I just didn't even know what to do with myself. I really regretted not bringing a book. I spent most of the evening just looking over maps, because I've got a paper map with me, and having a really early night, but it's something to think about, isn't it? I mean, you feel a bit lost without your phone. And I don't know, I felt a bit insecure. And obviously, I managed to climb a hill and let my husband know that I was okay, but I only had signal for about 3 seconds and then it went again. But I had loads of messages when I got a signal again today. It just, I don't know, everyone's reachable all the time, aren't they? So, yeah. Cool, time alone with your thoughts. Eek. I think that guy on that pyramid thing must be on a bike, because he's just come to either that or he's just fallen off it. He's just come down really quickly. I hope he hasn't fallen off it. It was really steep. I abandoned my climb of it yesterday. I could have got to the top, but then I thought, like, there's no way I'm getting down without going A over T. So yeah, let's hope he's on a bike and he was meant to come down that quickly. He'll probably pass me in a minute, because I imagine he's coming back on this path I'm about to join. Got a little bit of a side quest going on here. You know when you see something, you're like, ooh. So I saw this cairn as I was walking along. God, you can hear me, it's still a bit breezy. And just thought, I've never actually climbed up this way before, so this is Dartmoor, which is actually pretty close to Ivy Bridge. Ooh, breezy. This is an official path, believe it or not. They're so easy to miss because they're basically just slightly flattened bits of grass. And I'd say my map reading skills are medium. I'm getting a lot better at it. I wouldn't say I'm an expert. I wouldn't attempt too much night navigation or low visibility. That is a big cairn. So that way is the sea. I think we're only maybe 15 miles away from the sea. Oh, I tell you what, I try and get out of the wind a little bit. Oh, that's a relief. I've got my sunglasses on, and it's not because it's sunny, it's because you get windburn. And I'm trying to avoid that. It helps a little bit around your eyes and stuff. So I remember going to have a facial once, and they were like, "What's happened to your face?" I was like, "It's windburn," and they'd never heard of it. So I think they thought I was a bit mad, but it happens. Also, I spent a night wild camping, and I look like I've been punched in the face without these on. Here we go, beautiful Dartmoor. So it's getting on a bit. I think it's about 4, half 4, something like that. Probably got another hour and a half of light left to figure out where to camp. It's quite tempting up here actually. Use the cairn as a windbreak. The weather's meant to be a lot worse tomorrow, with possible rain, but it is my last night, so I can pack up everything wet if I need to. Decisions. It's really hard picking a camping spot. You're always doubting yourself. I can talk myself in and out of it wherever I look. The fact is, as long as you're safe, it's all good, isn't it? I may have found home for the night. On the top of a hill near Sharptor, where I was a little while ago. Ooh. There's a couple of flat spots. Check out that view though. I think that's the River or Ermy down there. And someone's having a huge fire over there. I hope it's on purpose. Let's have a little look. Might get windy now. Ooh. No one's going to be approaching from that side, are they? Wow. Drop off. The only problem with it is there's no running water anywhere near. There's some bog water. I think I've got enough though. So I've just got to find a flat. Luckily, my tent has a really small footprint, so you only need a narrow spot. So I'm thinking windbreak might just about fit there. If you see me camping somewhere completely different in the next shot, it did not fit there. It fits! Yay! I'm a little worried. Well, for a start, it took some creative pegging to say the least. But at the moment we've got a south-southwest, and according to at least 2 weather sites I've been to, it's going to change direction to southeast, which is that way. And as you can see, this tent has a broadside. It's also got a load of grass sticking in it. So sometimes it's a bit of a bugger if the wind decides to suddenly change direction, but we'll work with it because we get the views. Time for a cuppa. Oh well, campers, that was a night. Because I'm old and creaky, my back is not happy. So it's going to be a slow one today, and pretty much straight back to the train. I'm about, I think about 4 miles away from the station. So I've got to pack up and get down there. It was very rainy last night and quite windy, but although it's grey outside, it looks alright today. It's not chucking it down yet. The winner in the weather predicting apps yesterday was AccuWeather. It had it spot on literally to the minute when it was going to rain. It's like magic. So I'm trusting that one today, and it said it's going to rain by about 1 o'clock this afternoon, so I think it's about 7 now. So I've got plenty of time to pack up and get going. But, ooh, are you all steamed up? Possibly. Yeah, temperature differences every night. It got quite cold last night. Not as cold as the night before. It was below freezing the night before. Last night, I reckon it got down, at a guess, maybe 3 or 4 degrees. So a lot more manageable. Right, cup of tea, then packing. Okay. Let's see what the world's doing. Ooh. Wow, it's pretty atmospheric out there, isn't it? Okay, now the first getting out of the tent in the morning. Creak, creak, creak. Wow. Pretty misty up here. And windy, of course. Ooh. It's amazing how much mess you can make in a tiny tent. So, I think Ivy Bridge is that way. And it looks like I'm going to have to do some actual navigating because it's not great visibility. Do you know what? AccuWeather for the wind as well. It got it right. It changed from south-southwest to south-southeast. I'm definitely going to use that app again. Come on, the Met Office and BBC. They were useless. I always wonder whether there are countries around the world where the weather people are thought of as absolutely brilliant. That's not what happens in Britain. The weather is so unpredictable, I think, that it's not always right what they tell you. I did drive past the Met Office once. I think it's in Exeter, and it made me laugh so much because the angle I went round there, round a roundabout, it looked like there were no windows, which made a lot of sense with their weather predicting. Because often it's much more reliable to just look out of a window. Right, there's no getting away with it. I'm going to have to pack up the tent. Leave no trace. So as when you're heading back to civilization, you start kind of having thoughts. It's like, I don't know, my husband just does not understand why I do this at all. He's happy to stay in hotels or like shepherd's huts and things, and every now and again camping, as long as the facilities are good enough, a campsite. But this, he would absolutely hate. But it's kind of, some of it's kind of type 2 fun, isn't it? So you enjoy the memory of it. It's not easy to do, it's hard work, and there are lots of miserable bits, you know. But I always think, like, you get back to civilization and you miss some things. I mean, the scenery, the freedom, but I find myself appreciating things so much more. I mean, you know, switch on a tap and there's water there. Woo! I know it sounds crazy, but there's this thing called hedonic adaptation. It's a good phrase, isn't it? But basically it's like, you know, when you have that first sip of wine or taste of ice cream or whatever, and it's like the best thing you've ever tasted. And then the second one's nice, and the third one, it's like, meh. You get used to it. And you get used to kind of everything. And I sometimes think you're better off having a break away from home where you love coming home and you really appreciate coming home. It's nice to go on fancy holidays and be in luxury and stuff, but I know, I don't want to be sad coming home. Anyway, that's my tuppence worth. This weather kind of suits the moors, doesn't it? Right, I will stop rambling on and start walking a bit faster in the hope that I will be able to get the train. Ooh, definitely stay watching, because I hope I've got a warm welcome at home. Offer special somebody. Nope, not talking about my husband. Hello. Hello. Hello, puppy dog. Hello. I know. Okay, come on, let's go.